Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this latest episode of Fresh Review Friday. So sit back, relax, grab your cigar, maybe a drink, and enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to week number 2 of Cuevas Month. This October I am going to be highlighting every single cigar from the Casa Cuevas line, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm so happy that I finally get to get more in-depth with these cigars that I've been enjoying for the last 2 years. And obviously, I am very proud that Casa Cuevas is the sponsor for Dad Smoking Cigars. And so this week, week 2, as I said, we're going to be keeping things rolling. I hope you're in the mood for an interesting story, because the story behind how this cigar got its name is definitely one to remember. And if you haven't heard it yet, I think you're going to be in for quite the tale. So this week, I'm going to be reviewing the Casa Cuevas La Mandarria. Cue music. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Fresh Review Friday. You're watching Dad Smoking Cigars, sponsored by Casa Cuevas Cigars, from our casa to yours. Thank you so much for joining me. And as I said before, it is week 2 of Cuevas Month, and I'm calling it Cuevas Month this month of October, and also a little bit into November, because I am going to be taking the time to do a very in-depth review of each and every Casa Cuevas cigar. Now, as I said before, I've been smoking these cigars for the last 2 years. I was introduced to them by a friend named Brandon, aka Cigar Mechanic, who is a broker for Casa Cuevas out in Arizona, Colorado, and other territories. And I fell in love with these cigars from that point forward, and over time got very close and got to know the Cuevas family themselves, particularly Louis and Denise. I've yet to meet Alec yet, but I'm looking forward to when that happens. And of course, I'm very good friends with Christine Smoky Affair, who is the Casa Cuevas rep here in Southern California. So I've had the great privilege and fortune of being able to get involved and close with this family, their business, and of course to the point where they were gracious and generous enough to sponsor Dad Smoking Cigars, and which is why I get to have the privilege of being able to say sponsored by Casa Cuevas Cigars in every single video that I do. So very grateful for them, and they make excellent cigars, and I'm very excited to get into this cigar in particular. Now, it is called the La Mandarria, and now it was initially released as a limited edition cigar, and it was created after some craziness happened in, I would say, February of, is it 2019? Yeah, or something to that effect, yeah. But yeah, February of 2019, or around that time, the humidor at the offices of Casa Cuevas in Florida, in the Miami-Dade County area, got broken into, and it was nuts, because pretty much the entire humidor, their full stock of cigars for the most part, was cleaned out. If you've never heard this story, look it up, Google it, and it is one hell of a tale of just insanity and the absolute balls on these, whoever they are, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this group of people that decided to bust into the Casa Cuevas humidor and clean them out. Now, what did they use to get into the humidor, you might ask? Did they pick the lock? Did they know the code to get in? Did they, just go barreling through the front door? Did they crash a car through the humidor? No. They used a sledgehammer to break open, not a very big opening through the side of the humidor, but big enough for them to get in there and just clear the majority of the stock out. There was hardly anything left by the time they were done. Now, the reason why that's significant, if you don't know what La Mandarria means, La Mandarria means the sledgehammer. And after that whole insanity, obviously, Casa Cuevas was hurting, and they needed to recoup and get back to business and make sure that they could continue to produce and make these amazing cigars. And this cigar was born out of that insanity. And while it was once a limited release, it is now part of the Casa Cuevas main lineup. It is part of their core line. So everyone gets the privilege and the pleasure of being able to order these on the regular if they so choose, and I would highly recommend that you do that because it is an excellent cigar. But I haven't even gotten into my review of why it's so excellent, so I'm going to stop yakking and I'm going to finally get to this amazing cigar. And I will say this, it's got such an interesting design. I know I said I was going to stop talking, but I got to touch on this real quick. Now, you might be able to see here that it has a nice little pigtail on the cap of the cigar, and in addition to that is also the shaggy foot, where on a lot of cigars you see more of a clean foot, but this has got kind of that shaggy foot where you don't see the wrapper around it. It's mostly binder right there, giving it that kind of that rough look, which is kind of cool. And there are other cigars that follow that same style, but I believe Cuevas nailed the look and style of the cigar. So again, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to get into my review. I'm going to cut and light this bad boy, and we are going to have a good time. So here we go. Nice thing about that pigtail is it helps you get a nice cut. Kind of gives you a little bit of an indicator of where you should cut, and nice and straight. Not too bad if I do say so myself. Now, this is the only full-bodied, full-flavored cigar in the Casa Cuevas lineup, so it's got some strength to it. If you're not used to smoking strong cigars, this might be a bit much for you. So just keep that in mind if you're at all interested in trying it. If you're kind of more of on the mild side of things, this might not be the cigar for you. This might not be the cigar that fits your palate, that fits the typical strength that you smoke. So I would be very careful if this is not your usual jam. If you're not used to smoking stronger cigars, then I would very much recommend that you maybe wait a little bit until you get used to a certain type of cigar strength before you start smoking it. But it's got just rich, earthy flavor off the bat. It's got a little bit of that kind of like toasted, I want to say a little bit of toasted graham cracker right after the first puffs, after I light it up. But it's definitely earthy, got a bit of nuttiness to it right off the bat. But it's delicious, smooth, slight hint of sweetness, kind of like that grassy hay sweetness that you get in some cigars. And this is no exception in that regard. And yeah, I think every single time that I light one of those up, I get those same flavors, and it is just delicious right off of the bat. I say right off the bat a lot. I really need to watch some of the phrases and words that I use. If you guys have noticed that, point it out to me in the comments, because I honestly think it's going to be entertaining to see what you guys have to say in regards to what phrases and things I say the most. I know a few of the things I say way too much after watching the videos, my own videos. Apparently I'm a little bit narcissistic, but honestly, it's for the sake of improvement. I don't want to say the same stuff all the time. So anyways, retrohale, super smooth, no burn, no harshness. A little bit of filler there in the mouth, typical, but opens it up to nice kind of like oaky, woody flavors. Again, that slight hint of grassy hay sweetness, a little bit of toasted graham cracker. Delicious. So anyways, I have torched it, and I've gotten started on this delicious journey, and I'm going to go even deeper into it in the next segment. And I promise I'm going to actually do what I say I'm going to do, because I tend to drift in between segments. I'm going to give you the makeup of the cigar, and a few more facts on this cigar. And I'll let you know my thoughts after I'm done smoking down the first third. So I will see you guys in just a sec. All right, everybody. I have finally smoked down the first third of the Casa Cuevas La Mandarria, and It is absolutely fantastic, delicious, very, very rich. It's got nice, very woodsy notes, oaky finish, especially on the back end when you retrohale it, if that's something you do when you smoke. Opens it up very nice. Got still kind of that grassy hay, earthy richness to it. The subtle sweetness that kind of came at the beginning, like that went along with that grassy hay, it's kind of dissipated a little bit, but it continues to just be a very full and rich flavor. I get subtle hints of spice. Again, it's never like peppery. This is not a peppery cigar. I've had some very peppery cigars, sometimes so overwhelmingly, like it's just like it's hard to enjoy some of them. There have been a handful where there was just so much pepper and so much kick to it that I couldn't really enjoy it as much as I would have liked. And but there's none of that going on. It's kind of a subtle spice, a little bit of kind of like baking spice, whether cinnamon or nutmeg, kind of hanging on a little bit towards the front of the palate, tip of the tongue, but just absolutely delicious. And as I did promise that I was going to give you the makeup of the cigar, and I'm going to go. So here's a few facts about the La Mandarria and what it's made up of and what blend of tobaccos are used in this particular cigar. Now, this is definitely quite a blend of cigars, and it's very, very tasty. So this is what the makeup of the cigar is, and it is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with Nicaraguan binder, Colombian, Dominican, and Nicaraguan fillers. So it has got a hell of a blend going on, and it is just incredibly tasty, delicious, and it offers just such a diverse blend and complex flavor in a way that just, even though it's full-bodied, it smokes so smooth and so rich. The strength of the cigar barely registers. Now, it does pack a punch in terms of flavor, but as far as strength, I don't feel like it's going to knock you on your ass or make you feel like you're just going to get up and get that crazy nicotine buzz. Unless you're not used to that kind of strength of cigar, I don't think you're going to have any problem being able to handle the strength and just how full-bodied the cigar is. But it is just absolutely tasty, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So with that rich a blend of tobacco from different countries, different regions, you're definitely getting just a very diverse and complex blend of flavors. And I know I use those words a lot. I know that tends to be kind of my go-to vocabulary, but the reality is that between Nicaraguan and Dominican tobacco are some of my favorites. Honestly, those are my two favorites that I enjoy smoking. But that being said, I also love a good Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. Habano is one of my favorite flavor profiles, one of my favorite kinds of cigars. I love me a good Habano. In fact, the very first Casa Cuevas cigar I ever tried was the Core Line Habano. And this is essentially the Core Line Habano, but with a couple of differences. And hence why it is the only full-bodied cigar that Casa Cuevas offers. But it still maintains some of that diversity and a little bit extra strength to kind of push it over the edge, and which is why the cigar has been so highly rated. I believe it's been rated like anywhere between 90 and 92 by various cigar publications, and for very good reason. And it's just such a tasty cigar, and this is only the first third, guys. I haven't even gotten through the next two, so I'm gonna leave it here for the moment until I finally am able to get to the other 2/3, give you my thoughts, and I'll wrap it up with my rating and give you my honest opinion of the cigar. So sit tight, and I'll be right back with you guys and my thoughts on the next third of this delicious cigar. Alright, everyone, smoked down the second third of the La Mandarria. This has been a nice, long, leisurely smoke, and I'm starting to get the transition that I normally get when I'm smoking down the second third. A lot more of that nutty and woody flavor. Again, very kind of like oaky wood. A little bit of char on the back end. I'm kind of feeling on the back of my palate, on the back of my tongue, and all of that good stuff. It's starting to get a little bit more of that charred wood flavor. A little bit more of just that. There's a slight bitterness to it, but it's not bad. I remember smoking another cigar with my dad, and we're talking about how it's kind of like that bitter chocolate flavor, and I think that's kind of reminiscent of that. Not so much chocolate, but definitely a slight hint of bitterness, but it's not a bad one. It's not hot. It's not a bad flavor, but very earthy. A lot more wood and nuttiness from the cigar as I'm smoking it down. Burn pattern's kind of a little bit off. I've had to correct it a few times, as I'm doing right now. There are times I've smoked the La Mandarria and it is smoked razor straight in terms of the burn pattern and stuff like that. Other times, it kind of varies. The construction is always on point. And I think that it goes without saying, say hello to the dogs. It goes without saying that, like, there is going to be, like, every few cigars, every 10 or dozen cigars, that there's going to be maybe one that doesn't quite live up to the standard, doesn't quite live up to the reputation of the manufacturer, just because sometimes stuff happens. Maybe one cigar got rolled a little bit too quickly, maybe it didn't rest for long enough. I think that's kind of common when it comes to cigar construction and different manufacturers. Just every I would say bunch of cigars, or every box of cigars might have one or two that is a bit off in terms of how it burns, maybe the construction, maybe the flavor. I don't think this is one of them. I'm just kind of pointing that out because I have experienced that in even really great cigar brands, including Casa Cuevas, where just it happens sometimes. It's something that occurs in a batch of cigars where you might get one that's a little bit off. The construction is still great. Had a little trouble when I was taking the band off, and it kind of flaked a little bit underneath the band because I usually try to slide the band off as smooth as possible. Doesn't always work out. So I had to peel the band off, and it caught a little bit of the wrapper as I was doing it. The ash is burning a little bit hard, like, depending on, how it burns and things like that, the ash will be light gray and very light or very solid. This is kind of getting a little bit more of a blackened color, and the ash is a little bit harder to tap off because, as it is right now, it's burned down to about here. And it is kind of, not really ashing out very well. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but, as a cigar burns down, the ash starts to lighten and becomes very soft and loose. And so you're able to tap it off really easily. But with where it is right now, it's not completely softened up or really burned down to where I can tap it off. And I'm probably just going to kind of quicken it a little bit just by lighting it up. But for the most part, honestly, the majority is just great experience, great flavor. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the earthy notes, the woody, nutty notes, and stuff like that. Very rich flavor. And as always, I have a great experience with the cigar. But I wanted to kind of throw in a little bit of that honesty right there in terms of how the cigar is performing, because not every cigar performs fantastic. Even if you had it a bunch of times, even if it's a go-to cigar, one you smoke on a regular basis. And I've smoked the La Mandarria, I think 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks. And I think this is the one time where the ash is kind of burning a little funny, and I'm having a little trouble kind of tapping it off and all of that kind of stuff. So, but other than that, the flavor is still maintaining very well. The construction is still very good. It's just the burn pattern's a little off, and it happens again. Even in some of the best cigars that I smoke, and this is one of the best cigars I smoke on a regular basis. It's one of my go-tos. It sometimes it can perform a little bit wonky, but that takes away nothing from the experience and how good the cigar is. The flavor still holds up. The construction still holds up. It's still a very well-rolled cigar. It's not too tight. It's definitely not too soft. It has a little bit of give to it. I think that the cigar might not have rested for as long as I should have let it rest before I smoked it. This was one in the box of La Mandarria I just received. Very grateful to Casa Cuevas for sending me that box, and I'm excited and still very excited and having a lot of fun reviewing this. But there's a little bit of cracking, a little bit of give, but it's not unraveling. It's not coming apart or anything like that. But still delicious, still enjoying it very much. And I'm just about done with the cigar, so I'm going to smoke it down a little bit further, give you my final thoughts, my honest opinion on the cigar, and I will be back with you guys in just a minute with those final thoughts. Okay, everybody. winding down the Casa Cuevas La Mandarria, and right now, just kind of in the home stretch of the cigar as I smoke it down to the nub, it is just such a... I'm so relaxed right now. So relaxed, so chill, and just enjoying this flavorful, full cigar. Enjoying it with a glass of bourbon, and really just taking in the flavors and the deep complexity of the cigar. It is such a killer blend of tobaccos. I've had a number of amazing cigars, and this ranks up in my top 10 for sure. Still compiling that list. As we move towards the end of the year, I hope to share the top cigars that I've smoked over this past year. I'm going to have to go through a bunch of them to really get down to what my top cigar of this year is. But this is up there with them for sure. And right now it's just very nutty, very woody flavors. It's kind of simplified a little bit as I've wrapped it up. And it is just such a, I'm so relaxed and so chill, and the flavors are just kind of taking me to a nice place where I can really kick back and enjoy it. And the sweetness has been kind of scaled back. There's no sweetness left, but that's okay. The bitterness, kind of that good bitter flavor, like I said, almost like a bitter chocolate, but not quite chocolate, but it's just a nice kind of smoky, nutty, woody, bitter flavor that has been scaled back, and it's not really there anymore. It's just the really good woody and nutty notes now. Very earthy, a little bit of leather in there, but excellent. No matter how you slice it, it is just a very good smoke. The burn is evened out. It's ashing a little bit easier now. The construction is still holding very well. It's gotten a little bit softer as I go towards down to the cap of the cigar, but just excellent, very good. So grateful I've finally gotten to review the cigar. I'm super excited to review the rest of them. It's going to be a fun experience, and I really hope you guys are looking forward to it as well. But I have enjoyed it, very much enjoyed it, and I hope you guys, if you haven't tried the La Mandarria, that you go and pick up some. If you enjoy full-bodied, full-flavored cigars, you're going to enjoy this one without a doubt. I have no question in my mind you're going to enjoy this cigar. So please go get yourself some. I will leave a link, a couple links in the description below where you can pick them up. But just excellent cigars. And every time I smoke this one, I still just get such a full experience out of it. And I look forward to smoking it again. And I'm grateful to continue to have the opportunity to smoke Casa Cuevas. They are an excellent boutique brand, even though they are making such headway in the industry. And Casa Cuevas has been at it for years, for 30 years in particular, making cigars for other manufacturers, and they still do that for a number of brands and things like that. But their cigars, they pour so much love into it and so much passion and experience, and it's just a wonderful tradition that's being upheld into the fifth generation of Cuevas, with Alec Cuevas being the director of operations at Casa Cuevas. It's just such a wonderful story behind just the cigars they make, and obviously the story behind this cigar is just such a crazy one, from the theft and everything. They were able to rise above that and be able to create an excellent cigar and continue to create really great smokes for all of us to enjoy. So I'm going to give you my final thoughts and my rating. From the flavors and everything, it's just a lovely transition from beginning to end, from kind of that initial sweetness through some of that spice, and then transitioning down to, like I said, how it's simplified at the end, to the very earthy, leathery, nutty, and woody notes. Just excellent from start to finish. And as far as my rating for the La Mandarria, the Dad Smoking Cigars rating, I'm going to give this cigar a 91. I believe that is a very worthy rating for the cigar. I enjoyed it very, very much. continue to enjoy it, and I really hope you guys will also. So, but those are my thoughts on the La Mandarria. I enjoy being able to kind of get into this in depth, tell the story about the cigar and how it came to be, and how it is now part of the core line. Once started as a limited edition, but now is a part of the core line of Casa Cuevas, and I'm so glad because it is an excellent cigar. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts on the La Mandarria. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you once again to Casa Cuevas, the sponsor for Dad Smoking Cigars, for being so wonderful and generous, and continuing to support what goes on here at Dad Smoking Cigars on the Instagram and the YouTube. You guys are going to be seeing some more content, obviously, as the month progresses. But this week, I'm going to be joining some friends of mine, including Christine Smoky Affair, and Luis Cuevas and his lovely wife Denise are going to be here in California this week, and I cannot wait to see them and join them and hang out with them and talk with them. I'm going to be doing some content for that evening of the event that's going on this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But again, thank you guys for joining me for another Fresh Review Friday. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below on what your favorite Cuevas cigar is, or what your favorite full-bodied cigar is. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, so please chime in the comments, and I would love to have a conversation with you guys. But other than that, again, thank you for joining me, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one.